Good
Yes.
evening.
Oh, I'm a stuttery a bit, mate.
A stuttery?
A little bit.
What about now?
I'm moving like a robot. Look.
No, you're all right.
How are you, mate? You good?
I'm good, mate. How's your week been? All right.
All
Well,
good,
how's your
mate.
week been? You started the week, isn't it? Really? Bit stupid.
Welcome along, everybody.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. If you just joined us, we know what part of the week it is, don't we? It's the essential chat.
Part 5, I believe.
It is. It is. It is.
So
So
we've had a little change of the schedule, haven't we, tonight?
we have, and basically, it's 70s. The 70s, all right. There was lots going on, but I don't think the music was too cool in the 70s, even though there was a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
So what we thought we'd do is do what we usually do, is chat.
Rubbish.
Well, not rubbish, but yeah. So I think like the 70s was a good year. It was the rise and the demise of disco. The 70s was where Mr. Noel Rodgers come into his own.
The legend.
When obviously, like I was speaking to Styler earlier, they stopped disco overnight because they had this, I think it was baseball game or whatever it was in America. They said bring all your disco records together along, and you'll get into the game for nothing, and you can watch them go up in flames. So everyone done that, and instantly overnight, disco fell on hard grounds, mate. You
Well,
know,
do you know what the 70s was a good decade for?
go on.
Shabley.
Who?
Nice bit of Shabley, mate.
Oh, Tom Lane. Yeah, see, yeah, also the 70s, it was the end of the Vietnam War as well, mate.
Yep. Major point in history, that was, obviously.
Well, they didn't conquer it, and nor did the French either. But that's not about music anyway. But I'll tell you what, he's saying that. I was watching Tour of Duty, the programme on TV, and that has got a lot of good music in. That's got a lot
Tour
of
of Duty. Yeah, what was it? Oh, no, I'm thinking of... what's
Match?
the famous film that starts with Red Door? Black Door. Is it Red Door or Black Door?
What's
I
that?
see a red door and I wanna paint it black.
Oh, that's I can't get onto
Platoon.
That's Painted Black, the Stones.
Yeah, was that Platoon? Beginning of Platoon.
Duty.
What was it?
It was Tour of Duty. It was a program. It was a series on TV on ITV.
I thought it was beginning of the film as well somewhere. Could be wrong.
It may well have been. They used it on a lot of Vietnam films, but that's mate. You're saying that. Not a big fan of the Stones, but that Painted Black, that's got to be up there. That's got
to
to be.
Show you something, right? I've got this because we were doing the 70s, right? Look what I dug out.
No way.
Look at that beast.
It's that.
Look at that. That is going to take all my. That's going to take all my TDK 90s, mate, and put them on to.
Is that your mum?
Is it what?
Is it your mum's?
Before my mum's time, even, mate. You see that little bit at the back there?
Yeah, batteries.
Coal. Put coal in there.
I really thought.
So you fill it up with coal. No, what a thing to find though. Do you know what though? I can't find a power thing for it, so I don't know if it works yet. I'll probably have to clean the heads with a little earbud and some alcohol, but should be alright.
Is it an AC lead?
It's DC.
What AC?
Not AC/DC.
Sorry, I've got go on.
6 volts, 6-volt DC. If you've got one, or if anyone's got one, send them in.
Let me have a look. The reason why I've got my glasses on was I thought I'd look like bloody Wally. I mean, Buddy Holly. Another good artist from the 60s. Right, so let's get some music talk going. So 80s. Some of the best bands for me. it's got to be Soft Cell, Human League, as we mentioned before. But my God, OMD, Ultravox, the Synth Kings, man, can't forget Gary Newman on it, because like those guys, some of them synths and B lines that they made was, I'm sure I hear them in Jungle Records chopped up.
I'm sure you do, mate. I'm sure you do. There's got to be loads taken from. I know there's stuff taken from the 50s and the 60s. So there's definitely got to be stuff taken from the 70s. We were having a little chat off air, and we were discussing about tonight, and we were saying about the 70s. And for me, the 70s wasn't the most. It wasn't the best decade of music for me. There was a lot of music in it, and there was good music, but I found it a little bit. I said earlier, I found it a little bit depressing, a little bit subdued, but that's not going for all the tracks. But I don't know, there's something about the 70s that didn't really grab me. I prefer either side. I prefer the 60s and the 80s, to be honest, but I'm not sure. I know there's people like when I was born in the late 70s, so I don't remember too much of it as a kid, but obviously going into the 80s, people were still playing 70s. My mum's massive 70s fan. Things like Four Tops, and I think there was quite a bit of Motown still knocking around in the 70s.
There was, mate.
So yeah, a lot of that. I remember one of the first tape packs. It was a double tape pack, double cassette opened each side, and I chawed it off my old man. I found it in the bedroom, and I nicked it from my bedroom for my cassette player, and it was rock and roll double pack, and it had some tunes on it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. It was mainly tapes that sold more than records, believe it or not.
Yeah,
because
you put it in your car, couldn't you?
well,
Walkman.
it was the birth of the Walkman as well.
Yeah.
So if you
That's
think
what I'm
that there was quite a few things, like if you think what thing, I got to pick up Paul McDowell, man. If you got any questions or you got a favourite tune, mate, from any genre across the whole board, let us know, mate. I know you always catch me on the hop on a Saturday morning. This
You
guy's
can,
like,
if you've got any questions, put them on Mixcloud. Can you get Mixcloud? I can't get the chat in a minute, but if anyone, we should be able to get the questions from Mixcloud, or you can look at this. I've worked this out today.
come on, Paul, come and join us, mate. You know a bit.
Look at that. That's the chat on the website, all the w's.upfrontradio.live. Whack your chat in there, and we'll have a little gander and try and answer your questions. Or it doesn't have to be a question, just some info.
Yeah, because I mean, Paul McDowell said to me, it was, this guy's been following us for a while. Big yourself up. I played a tune, and he was like, there's lead singer of this, and I was like, no idea. And he's like, it's Billy Ray Martin. Put your loving arms around us, and I was like, mate, I never even knew that. So there are people like big up Fozzy as well. Fozzy, a bit about music. All these guys, proper upfront followers. But yeah, I mean, the 70s. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of music, there was a lot. I think Marvin Gaye got shot in the 70s, late 70s. How like a lot of good music that guy made. Like I'd say the four-man of Motown, along with
A lot of political stuff as well in the 70s, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Especially
mate.
with like the governments in this country and things like that, riots. There was lots going on.
I'll tell you also, I know this is sidetracking, guys, and we want to talk about music. It was the winter of discontent where everyone went on strike. There was, you know what? You're never going to believe this, are you? 1 second, guys. This is not professional, but I'll get to charge my phone.
He needs the bog. Look, he's off to the bog. Yeah. So just a quick one. While he's gone, anyway. Back to all the listeners. Big shout to you guys, because that's what we do it all for anyway. So I know there's a load of regulars of you on tune in, especially on a Saturday morning for the Soldier Breakfast. So yeah, give yourselves a pat on the back, because it's always nice to have those people in there, regular people, and it's nice to be like appreciated really for taking the time out for doing what we do. So yeah, big yourselves up. If your battery goes, that's it, mate. You're sacked.
I'm sacked anyway, mate. So what matter? The only thing is my thing's underneath now, so it's gonna sort of muck it up a bit.
That's all right. You go for it, mate. You plug it in. I'd rather you plug it in than drop off. So yeah, if you've got any questions, fire them across. So Paul's in the chat on Mixcloud. Hi guys, just casually listening in the background. I've listened back to some of the chats. Good listening. Well, thanks. I know we do waffle on a bit, Paul, and that's all part of it. And we do get heavily sidetracked. So this week is a bit on the fly. It's not going to be as structured as the other weeks. Like I say, we were supposed to be doing the 70s, but to be honest, I've had a heavy week. Well, I'm not going to go into everything, but kind of like run out of time myself. So, but didn't want to let you down. So we're on. We're going to roll through as much music stuff as we can for the hour anyway. So nice one, Paul. Thanks for the message, mate.
Right. So for me, it was after this tune for a while. The original is by a person that's got like not many people know her. Not many people have heard of her, but a diva. In and out of my life. When I come across, I had In and Out of My Life by One Fat Diva. Mate, I picked it up like literally, I can't even tell you, and I've been collecting music for ages, 2 months ago.
That is a tune. That's a classic. That's an anthem.
Yeah, and do you know what? It was £1.
Nice.
Mate,
you get all the bargains, didn't you?
Yeah, mate, you got to be in the right place at the right time. Do you know what I mean?
I'll start calling you Dickinson.
I've got the glasses for it. But yeah,
just while we're talking about divas, actually, can we just say R.I.P. to Angie Stone, by the way, because that is a massive loss to the industry. It was all over social media, and lots of people are dropping like flies in the music scene. But that is a big, heavy loss. That is one artist that will surely be missed. So R.I.P. Angie Stone.
You know, for a sample, you know, on that thing, I Wish I Didn't Love You Anymore is sampled by I forget the bloody name of it now, but I think it was the Four Tops or someone like that. I can't just remember offhand, but the Backstabbers, the OJs, that was what a sample from. You know what a sample? I don't really like people taking samples, but that was one of the best samples that I've ever heard used in like a R&B record.
Paul's just saying Seamus Haji does a good remix of One Fat Diva. Mate, Seamus Haji is a massive producer, house producer. I've got loads of his tracks. I like it. I'm pretty sure I have heard that. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah. So yeah, I will make sure. Definitely check out that. I would be surprised if I haven't got it somewhere. Does ring a bell, but.
You see, I don't have a lot of the house stuff because I collect broad genres. If I hear something that's really good, I'll pick it up. You know, I've got bits and bobs of house and all sorts. Got a lot of breakbeat. Obviously, you know yourself. You know you still do that. I've dabbled in. I've got about 200 records of breakbeat. You know, it's only a few, mate.
No, that's my speciality. Worth checking, Paul says. Ejeka, is that how you pronounce it? Did a banging remix last year. So I don't even know the name actually, Paul, but I will definitely check that. I'm going to actually write that down. So nice one.
And also, you know what was the birth in the 70s? Late 70s. Well, I know we said we weren't going to speak about the 70s, but I've got to get this one in because this is a person, a female, that started this record label off. And to be honest, if we didn't have this record label, we wouldn't have started, mate. I'm talking about the Sugar Hill label.
Yep.
Serena, I can't think of her last name. Mate.
Williams.
It was my cousin. Sugar Hill Gang, mate. You know what I mean? The Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash. You know, it was the whole breakdancing scene that come in on that label.
So did that actually come in at the end of the 70s, all that breakdancing stuff? I know it was big in the 80s, but was it actually, did it?
I think it hit the UK in the 80s. I think it was more predominant in obviously the Americans, you know, the whole graffiti, the hip hop, the whole lyricist thing was the whole movement that started over there in the late 70s. You know, some people say it started in the 60s, some rapping out something or other, or I don't know the full logic of it, but I know as a kid, all that electro stuff was coming to the 80s, late 70s, 80s.
Do you know who would know? Do you know he was massive breakdance fan when he used to be on there, Define?
Yeah, Define would have. Well, you know, he's not that much older than us two.
No, but he loved his breakdance. Look,
Hmm.
Bailey's. Look, Bailey's. It's 6:15 on a Tuesday afternoon. He's on the Bailey.
You know
There's
what?
me. Look, cup of tea.
But if I don't, mate, I need. See, I've got all the gift of the gab, but it's I need it for me for my confidence.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Straight up, mate. Honestly, you believe that? I'm like scared witless, mate.
You played at Symmetry Fest, mate.
Yeah, and that was bad enough, mate.
You're all right. You're all right.
Yeah, so look.
So breakdance.
Nah,
I only obviously knew of it in, to be honest, the late 80s. When I had a bit of lino rolled up, used to go down the garages, burn out my classics, little beatbox on the go. But I didn't realise it was that early.
see, we used to have a gang in obviously Broadfields. You have to be part of a gang, don't you? Called the Electric Warriors.
Soon to be followed by the Afro Warriors. Who was it said you had a wig on the other day?
And you know what?
It was on Chrissy Barrow, wasn't it? He's like, Soldier's got a wig on. And then everyone's got to have a wig if you're on there. Keithy B's got a wig. He's got several actually, isn't he? He goes from a long blonde to a curly brunette. Paul says, did you see the guy who did the breakdance in the Olympics? I actually did.
Not the girl.
No, I didn't see a girl, no. He said it was hilarious. Yeah, I did find it quite funny. Some of them guys are mad though. You don't know how they do some of that stuff.
No, it was the girl that was doing the kangaroo.
Oh, I missed that. Are you sure we're talking about the Olympics here?
Yeah, it was the girl that was hopping around like a kangaroo and everyone was slating her off.
Oh, I didn't see. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Is that who you mean, Paul? Not sure. So, yeah, big up Fozzie. Where's Fozzie tonight? Anyway, I was trying to get him on.
Let me see if he's knocking about because I'm gonna like literally come out of it. But anyways, look, I don't want to sidetrack onto that stuff, but the 90s. The 90s was such a powerful thing when all the dance coming like Dirty Cash and everything. Snap the Power, Chill Rob G. Like the 90s just killer. The 90s were killer because it went from acid house to hip house and all of that, and it literally paved the way into hardcore, into jungle.
90s really got me into music, mate. It really. I remember being at school, being in like I'm going to. I was always into music, but I mean like heavily into music was when I went to senior school, and I think we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and I started listening to hip hop like regularly. Public Enemy, KRS-One, Tim Dog. That kind of era, buying the albums, getting real sort of into it. And at the same time, I remember, like you say, there was Snap, there was KLF, there was CNC Music Factory, all those kind of dancey 90s tunes that were like, I remember the school discos, everyone doing Running Man and big old massive baggy shell suits. And it was good. It was a good time. It was a good time.
You know, and the thing is, the birth of it weren't only that the whole hip hop, Young MC, know how like Big Daddy Kane, the whole of that stuff in the 90s. This, and you know what? It was the birth of like not the birth, but MTV raps. It was, I think, the 90s was such a decade that you had the indie, you had a hardcore, jungle. It was just the craziest decade ever for music.
Do you know what? It wasn't all internet hadn't properly taken off then, it had it either. So it wasn't like saturated on the internet everywhere. So it was like listening to the radio, catching it on the radio, trying to record it. It was like maybe seeing some of the few that come through and made it to Top of the Pops. I remember watching Vanilla Ice on Top of the Pops, MC Hammer, and thinking, Jesus. And then everyone at the next disco or the next party that was on, everyone was running around these baggy trousers doing like this like MC Hammer dance. The way that it took off without the invention of the internet at the time was pretty impressive.
Well, I'll tell you something, because this is the craziest thing ever. So the start of the 90s, the fashion, what I used to wear was black wallabies. I had these sort of baggy bottoms with like half and half, like checkered purple and black top, man. It was you had the flares, you had the dungarees. It was just, it went all directions, mate.
Don't tell them what you wore on a Friday night, though. Whatever you do, mate, don't start going down that route.
Mangini.
The clothes were a one-off, weren't they? No, everything like skinny jeans and everything now, but you couldn't get stuff baggy enough, could you?
I'm going to tell you something that made me crack up, man. Old Black Leather told me something, right? Years ago, right? We had these jeans. Yeah, big up Wayne. We had these jeans. So at the back, they had two-tone patches on the back. And they were all the rage. And he said, he told me, he was like, they went out of fashion. His old dear bought about 6 pairs of them.
I remember everyone hitting the shop Sage and just buying a chippy Chevy on. It was all baggy. And Paul saying here on the Mixcloud chat, I think the early 90s had so many different styles and influences, and he's right. There was like
100%.
It was huge. I don't know. Also, my age as well at the time, very influential. You know, teenager. You get sucked into a lot of things, follow the trend. Champion. I had a pair of bright green Champion boots. All the feelers that used to go around in all the different colours.
Ewings.
Yeah, Patrick Ewings.
Group SPX. Mate, there was
Spliffy jeans.
Yeah, mate. The whole, mate. It's just, if I could take people back to the 90s to show what the 90s were about, was like, we should have done the 90s this week.
Should have done, but people on the poll didn't put it. Do you know there was twice as many votes for the 70s as the 90s, and I was shocked. I was well shocked at that. I thought 90s would run away with it, but no.
You know, look, the last bit of the 80s, so 88 to 89, was sort of the birth of the pirate radio station, the pager, and the telephone line for pirate radio stations. So Fantasy FM, you know, Defection maybe, Centre Force, you know, big up Andy Swallow, still going today. Like, it was, when it went into the 90s, it just blew up. The M25 rays that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, the 90s just went mental. If you weren't, you know, if it weren't for the Stone Roses, I'm talking early Blur, EMF, you know, Soup Dragons, all this early, you know, that's indie stuff, but it still had a part. And you know what? If it weren't for the Northerners to add to the scene, we'd be knackered.
Influential. The Northern connection, massive. Like I did say the other week, I don't really know too much about it, but I do know it was a big part of the scene in all scenes, really. There's a lot going on up there. Can I just quickly say as well, you talk about pirate radio, and obviously the 90s was massive. There were so many pirates on air, but talking of the 70s as well, you go back, kicked it off, Radio Carolina. What an operation that was, mate, from a ship out on the, was it in the Channel?
Yeah, it was in the English Channel. You'll see, I think.
And what an operation that is. You're talking about, it's hard enough to find a tower block and set things up from there. You're talking about taking over a ship and running it from there. And you're going back all those years. That's crazy.
Oh, by the way, guys, we're sort of made cameos on ITV called Stealing Air. Go and check it out, Metroland.
Yeah. If anyone wants a copy, I've got one. Now, we spent about 8 years trying to find it on the internet. I think one of my mates even wrote to Metroland and whatever, tried to, and no one could get a copy. Then big up Mr. K from Flair FM, now Divine. He sent me the link, and someone had put it up on YouTube just recently, and it was Ganja that found it and told him. So big up K, big up Ganja, all the old original Flair crew, and the Divine massive.
Yeah, also got a big up Candyman as well, because he was part of that lot when them lot were there, man. You know, all those DJs quite a defining moment for me, Flair. I know I was on Mac before, but having a bigger part on Flair was like it was something else, mate. It was, I don't know.
I
But
always say if it wasn't for Candyman, I wouldn't have been doing what I was doing in music. I probably wouldn't have. He opened up so many avenues. I was the same. I was on Mac beforehand.
yeah,
So big up Tony McMahon, the Mac FM crew, the original 927.
yeah, mate. I
Um,
mean, like it was lucky what I'd done in the garage scene. So you know, I literally got my foot in the door in a lot of doors and went down a lot of avenues just
you got your
because
foot in the door of the Sparrow, didn't you, on a Friday night?
the Sparrow, man, it's a different thing, man. You never go in that pub, but it's a Tesco's now. But that's
Big
just
up
what.
Candyman.
Yeah,
Big up Candyman though, Jay, for that. You know, like I say, I wouldn't have done what I was doing if it wasn't. He used to push people and give people loads of opportunities, and didn't ever want anything in return. He was just one of those people that liked seeing people progress and do what they wanted to do or needed to do.
I
So
mean, like you know, all them guys doing that thing, they're doing what they do. You know, it's so crazy, man. You know, I just think about like the journey, like yourself and myself have been on, like the record shops and everything else. It's you know, the people I've met along the way. Not even like even at Wembley when I used to do the stages and stuff, and like just some of the bods I've met on the way that I didn't know who was who, and you know. We was like speaking about the other day about Audio Animals, my second cousin, and you know people you know are Soul Avengers. It's it's like crazy because I didn't think, I don't want to say this, I didn't think I would get to that point where I knew them people being the neighborhood DJ. You know what I mean?
yeah, but it was a rare thing back then. Like everyone's a DJ now, or everyone wants to be a DJ. It's a popular thing. Back then, it took time, money, dedication.
Mm.
It was few and far between. So we said it the other week. You were the go-to person. I just want to say quickly something before I forget. Right? Um, I knock up a few little tunes. Me and Soldier do it together sometimes. Sometimes I do some of my own. He does some of his own. Uh, I go under this mildly comfortable. That's my alias for making tunes. So at the minute on my SoundCloud, there's a free download of a Rui de Silva Touch Me tune that I've done, and it's not the idea so much because obviously it's a remix, but the actual production, I think for myself, is probably one of the best ones I've done at the minute. So I've decided to put it up for free download. So if you go check out my SoundCloud, mildly comfortable, you can find it. And I'm even thinking of putting up the tune me and Soldier done with Alex, but I was a bit hesitant because I think we still got a little bit of work to do with a bit of the arranging on it.
I mean, I've got something written out at the moment. You know, we all laugh, but you have to write a tune and get all the stuff together before you hit in there because you know the studio. You know, it costs a bit of dough, but if you've got everything and all your ideas and the minutes and everything, you know, I've got another jungle tune ready to like. I stare in the background, just thinking about stuff, getting my ideas together. So, you know, we will be back in the studio, and so Mr. Slider will be coming with me. So, you know, I've
Jungle
still
Jungle?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I've still got like probably an album's worth of garage they ain't even
It's a
released.
shame that we live like 120 miles apart now. So believe me, if we were closer, we'd be banging out way more stuff. But it's logistically, it's hard. You know,
Yeah,
it's very hard. Even with technology, it's hard to. You can't sit 120 miles away and both work in the same capacity on the same tune. You know you have to send something up and then you send a bit back down, and so it's difficult. So that's my only thing. I wish we were a bit closer because we'd definitely be banging more out. Definitely, 100%.
I mean, that's changed that is as well. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so I mean, look, I was supposed to come down this the last couple of days, but I was just so knackered with work. So, you know, now we're tangenting off. So, you know, a massive. I want to go back to like talking music again. Sorry about it, Stu. Styler.
Fine, it's fine. That's what
Alfie
we're
and
here for.
Alfie and Donna, Uptown Ranking. I had to say that properly before it come out wrong. One of the best, I'm going to say, not one of the best reggae tunes, but such an influencing reggae tune that everyone sampled.
Yeah.
Alfie and Donna, man, like two women.
Yep.
I'll tell you another person. She
Catchy as hell, wasn't it?
khaki suit and ting, mate. That's
Just
all you.
catchy, just a catchy track, party track. Put it on, people will dance.
I'll tell you another person that don't get enough props. Is a woman called Janet Kay, the first lady of Lovers Rock, so they call.
Oh, Peter Kay's sister.
Janet Kay. Oh,
Oh.
Peter Kay.
Garlic bread.
So
Out to CB. He's a nutter. If anyone's caught Barlow's shows, he's got the we call him Crazy Barlow, but he's got the. You just listen to his show and listen to his jingles, and he's a really good DJ and all. So you won't be disappointed. No.
so
Friday nights.
the guy's crazy as hell. So Janet Kay, the first lady of Lovers Rock, refused to go on Top of the Pops because she wanted to sing it live. So because everything on there was all mime, so she went on there, done it first time, never performed like sort of live. Top of the Pops, mate. What a tune! Silly Games. What an absolute conqueror like tune.
Do you know something else about Top of the Pops as well?
Go on.
If you did, they pushed all the good-looking people to the front. That's when I went. I was out in the fire exit. No, they pushed all the good-looking people to the front, right? And if you didn't dance, apparently they used to kick you out. That's just what I've heard. Top of the Pops.
That would have been me knackered then.
And all the presenters were doing naughty stuff on the side as well.
I've seen a couple of things about Top. You need to come to YouTube and look at Top of the Pops because they had a bar up there, right? And if you don't know people, the artists couldn't get in. Top of the Pops. It was a clicky thing.
That doesn't surprise me. A lot of these things are, aren't they?
And do you know what?
The music scene can be very clicky. We know that.
Oh, 100%.
Right from the bottom, right the way up to the top. But even down here, like it can be one hell of a clicky place. If you don't fit, you.
That's it, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm going to tell you something about Top of the Pops. It's hilarious, right? I saw this on this documentary. So, Billy Idol is from Stanmore, Middlesex. Billy Idol is from Stanmore.
Really? I didn't know that.
So he was part of a rock group called Generation X, right? And all the people are queuing up for Top of the Pops, and they feel a load of stuff coming on their head. So there's Billy Idol and Generation X all on top of BBC Centre Tower, peeing on people's heads, saying it was making a statement.
Do you know who else comes from Stanmore? Might have lived near him. And you don't hear nothing of them. They blew up, went massive, and then disappeared. And I loved them, mate. Honestly, I loved them. Lighthouse Family.
No way.
Yeah, guy was from Stanmore. My brother went and done some work for him, and they become massive, didn't they? Lifted and all of that, and then where'd they go? They just disappeared.
They went to the coast because there was a lighthouse.
They did though. Did you? I mean, did you? Was it just me? But I thought the guy had a really good voice. I thought their tunes were good.
Lighthouse Family were half decent, mate, to be honest, in all fairness, and that was the 90s, so it was competing against a lot of people in the 90s.
Yeah, but had his own thing. I mean, you whack one of these tunes on, you knew it was him. I did once know the guy's name, but I've completely forgot it.
Freddie Mac.
Return of the Mac. Is that because he was near McDonald's at Stonegrove?
Listen, you know who else lives in Stanmore, don't you?
Wayne.
No,
Phase One. Phase One. Everyone's heard of Phase One. Black Leather.
Sench. John Sue's dad. John Sue. Sench's dad. Yeah, big grime artist at the moment, and was up for a load of Brit Awards. Won a few Mobos and stuff.
I didn't know he lived there.
John's over that way. Yeah, I think he's Sench bought his old man a bungalow over that way.
Nice.
Yeah, later him, someone from the right. So anyway, I think for me, going back to the 87, 85, I think, Public Enemy.
Public Enemy? Who the hell Public Enemy anyhow?
So for me,
Public Enemy were massive. Apocalypse 94 was one of the first albums I bought on tape. Massive. We were
Yeah,
talking about it the other day as well. They were they crossed hip hop with like heavy
metal.
metal
Yeah,
when they done the tune with Anthrax.
bring them.
Bring the Noise, yeah. So Run DMC obviously done it with Aerosmith, didn't they?
But 1 second, I'm going to pull you there. You know, Walk This Way. You know the first people to use that? Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Five. They were the first person to use that sample.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, go on. So
I was just saying, I don't know any other crossover apart from them two, and they both worked. But that Anthrax was a tune. That was a really good tune.
Yeah, it was a different type of thing. But I'll tell you what was if you want to see a really good interview as well, and it's really funny, is go and type in DMC Walk This Way, how they made it. It's hilarious. It's absolutely.
I've not seen it.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's almost as funny as that Freak Out with Nile Rodgers, mate. You need to go. I always type in interviews and stuff, but it's the DMC thing is a different thing, mate. You watch that will have you laughing your head off. Funny as hell, mate. Yeah, go like I don't know. You know,
Wasn't you saying the other day? Sorry, just to while I was just on touching Public Enemy. Didn't you say even though they were American, they were based here somewhere, weren't they?
They're based in Soho. Duke was telling me because Duke toured with Public Enemy, and so did Silver Bullet.
R.I.P. Duke. Another soldier gone.
What a nice guy, mate. Like one of the nicest, humblest guys I ever spoke to. I spoke to him a few times out of the interview as well. But UK, I'm not going to say put it on. Part of the UK movement in hip hop in the late 80s, along with Gunshot, Hijack, the Cash Crew, Bullet. There was so many of them guys, that literally pushed the purpose of UK hip hop to where it is. I think, like Gunshot, I think were very underrated. Like is it Clear the President from Danger or what is it? You had that album, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I had a couple of singles as well. I'm just trying to remember. I can't think of the life of me. This totally gone out of my head what the names of the tunes were, the singles. But yeah, Gunshot were I liked Gunshot.
Yeah, and again, I think we spoke about and you got the Brotherhood from North London, where two of them boys used to go to school with me. So you had Lawrence, you had DJ Crystal, what was part of that lot. Can't remember the black guys, and they had three Jewish guys. Like literally underrated. It's crazy how the UK hip hop I think was underrated, didn't get enough publicity. And you can't forget people like the Cookie Crew, the She Rockers, the Wee Papa Girl rappers, all them females lot as well. They did put, they paved the way for a lot of people like females as well.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because music doesn't seem to it doesn't segregate. It doesn't. Well, obviously it did a long time ago, but still underground. It didn't really segregate because even though it might have done in the forefront, it behind the scenes and like it didn't. But it didn't. It never sexualized.
No.
In other things, women were never involved, especially like through the 60s and 70s. It's only recently now, in recent years, that women are becoming equal and doing the equivalent of what men are doing. You look at the football and stuff like that, even that's not quite the same now, what they get paid and what's televised and things like that. But women were always involved in music. It was one of the rare things that they were just probably as equal as men.
I'm going to tell you something, right? This is my take on it, but I think people have different things. There was a lot of female Shell Rock, Lisa Lee, and all them people back in the early 80s. But I think there was one group that pushed females that literally brought it into the mainstream with Salt and Pepper. Push It was such a breakthrough tune.
Yeah.
To have 3 girls rapping and having 2 guys dancing where it'd be the other way around, mate. You know what? Fair play to them guys. Fair play. I know you know you had MC Light, you had like Queen Latifah. You got to pick up Moni Love because she was English and went to America and made it. There's not many English like female rappers that do that. You know,
No.
she was part of the Native Tongues. You know, De La Soul, Jungle Brothers, Tribe Called Quest. She was part of that movement.
Can you answer me a question if you know? Because I don't, and I
Well,
like her as an artist, and I've never known whether she was English or American. Shiesty, do you know Shiesty?
no.
No, so she's like undergroundy rapper. Does a lot of like you know, like these Miami sound things. They're like quite breakbeaty.
Yeah, I know Miami Sound.
Yeah, so she does a lot of like tunes on there, but like you know when they sort of half rap, half sing.
Yeah.
But she's distinctive, and she does a lot of like breakbeat tunes and stuff. But I'm not sure whether she's American or English, but
Right.
she's good.
So you know who bought all that? It is I think it's called, is it not called Miami Bass?
Yeah, yeah.
So you know who started all that lot off, didn't you?
Um,
Who's serious?
are you going to say someone like Fatboy Slim or
No,
someone like that?
no
Go
one
on.
like Two Live Crew, Luke Skywalker, banned in the USA. You had them lot, and all you know. That's the whole of that dirty South. That's where it come from, mate. If it weren't for the Two Live Crew, me so horny and things like that, mate, it was called Miami Bass.
Didn't the guy die from Two Live Crew?
Yeah, he did. I can't think. Kai. I can't think of his name, but yeah, he did, mate.
Was Easy nothing to do with Two Live Crew?
No, they were Compton, weren't they? So
Right.
Miami was. I don't know. My geography's bad because I never paid attention. But no, he found Bone Thugs and Harmony.
So was that a big thing? Because they always go on about the Bloods and Crips, don't they?
Bloods,
In America,
Bloods were New York. Crips were East.
and it was always a big, massive conflict and rival, wasn't it?
I'll tell you something, right? This is another good interview if you want to watch it, right? I'm going on about hip hop and stuff. So Third Base made this tune called "Turn This Mother Out," and Hammer thought it was on about him. So they was doing this thing. Hammer put a $50,000 hit on all their heads. He had like all the Crips after him. Mate, it's the maddest interview I've ever seen in my life.
You know,
mate.
there's an interview about him as well, and that guy apparently is pretty dangerous. And
Yeah,
you see him in the charts in his baggy trousers doing all this, but apparently no one messed with Hammer.
mate,
He was a bad boy.
he got Redman. He had to tell Redman off. He had to give him the hammer. He said something about his
Yeah,
mum. And
crazy, isn't it?
he's like, I know you're a young cat. He's like, but don't speak about my mum. And Redman was like, yes, sir. I won't do it. Redman, fair play to him. He's a good artist, man. Right, I want to go on. Have you got any music you want to talk about, Stu?
What I was going to say is, how fit were the female artists in the 80s? There
Yeah,
was loads of them. They were like,
yeah.
they were nice. They were nice.
I
There's some
mean,
nice ones banging around today, but the 80s, there seemed to be all of them were like, they were just good looking women. I don't know if that was all part of it, but not all of them, but there was, you know, you could name a lot.
oh, 1 second. I've got to shout out to Treebor Trey. And also, you know what? Paul McDowell, mate. Oh, mate, that's such a good call. Do you know what? Everyone misses her off the list. Nana Cherry.
Yeah, Buffalo Stance.
Do you know who her brother is?
Tom. Oh no, not Tom and Cherry.
Eagle Eye Cherry.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I do, yeah, I do.
Mate,
What was that one that famous one he had in
Babe
the
Tonight.
90s?
Babe Tonight before tomorrow comes.
Was it that
Anyway,
one?
that's enough of my thing.
He was another one that just disappeared, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was that in the chat? Because my chat's obviously not
Yeah,
updated.
I've got my chat open. And do you know what she does now?
OnlyFans.
She's a cook.
Is she?
Yeah. And I'll tell you
Don't
what,
know.
You know, this is. Do you remember Khalees?
Yeah, liked Khalees.
You
I
know what she?
liked
You
Khalees.
know what she does now?
She definitely does OnlyFans now.
No, she. Sorry, wrong group. She writes recipe books. She got about 6 out.
Really? Why is everyone getting into food? Why they go from music to food?
So we can all get obese and walk around in wheelchairs.
Do you know
Listen,
what? I really liked Khalees. I know a massive one was Milkshake, wasn't it? But
well, hold on. What about with Andre 3000?
what one was that? Because
Millionaire.
oh
Millionaire.
yeah. She done loads, and do you know what? She was remixed quite a lot as well.
Yeah. But in all fairness, she was a bit crazy because I think she wanted $150,000 a month of Nas
Don't blame her.
for child support.
Don't blame her. He's loaded.
Of
I'd
course
be
he-
after the same thing.
Right. I want to get back to this guy as well, right? I know we're tangent on hip hop, but I think this guy, right? This was a very big shock to the scene. Was DMX.
Sampled plenty as well.
So I found something that I'd done the other day, a drum and bass tune called X Gonna Give It to You. I'm gonna send it to you, Styler.
I think I'm not quite sure, but I think you have played it to me. But yeah, I want it anyway. Send it to me.
I think he was so underrated.
Yeah.
Hated Ja Rule, hated 50. What a good guy.
Yeah,
What
he was. I think he was quite big though. But yeah, I see what you mean. Underrated. I
so
think these people, you don't realise how big they are in America as well, because we
yeah,
only see it from over here. But
you know, part of Rough Riders, part of Eve, part of Jadakiss and Styles P. Mate, I'll tell you who produced for Rough Riders, Alicia Keys' husband.
did you say Eve? Because that was another big artist, Eve.
Eve.
Yeah.
With Gwen Stefani, Let Me Blow Your Mind.
Oh, I do like a bit of Gwen.
So the geezer behind most of that was Swiss Beats, which he's a really good producer. Underrated, very, very underrated guy. I want to flip forward, mate, to the 90s again. Well, no, actually, I don't. I want to go back to the 80s. So the amount of 80s stuff that was churned out was so much that I can't tell you how much stuff I've got here of 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because, like, when you get a lot older, your music taste sort of turns. But I think you appreciate more of what was back then where you didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, like, you know, being in that whole 90s scene in the late 80s and not listening to stuff, like you go through that whole rave and everything.
Well, it wasn't really what we were. I see what you mean. Like the sort of stuff that wasn't at the forefront of what you were listening to. As you get older, you kind of pick up them sounds and think, bloody hell. Like, because I know I listen to some 80s stuff now that I wouldn't have listened to in the 90s.
You know what? I more prefer like the early soul stuff. As I say on a Saturday, I know I started changing it up a bit, but that stuff, I'm like, you know what? I don't remember listening to this as a kid. I remember the top 40 being on, but I don't remember like the SOS Band, Just Be Good to Me, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? I don't remember listening to it.
And how many albums did bands used to bang out as well? It was like album after album, wasn't it?
I think this is where where it sort of went wrong because, you know, we've had this conversation before. It's like, how many of these guys used to go on reel to reel, not digitally enhanced, reel to reel? They'd do 200-300 takes before they got it right. And it'd be album after album after album. You know, they wouldn't punch about doing things. They would just bang out albums.
Do you know what I think though? I think in those days where the piracy wasn't so big, they used to get a majority of their money. It was worthwhile doing. Now artists are fighting piracy all the time. People, you can go and download anything you want. They must lose so much money.
I think this is where a lot of now, when I see a lot of people repress and stuff, they want the money up front. But They're asking like you know, and this is fair play to them. So they're saying they want 15 quid for a record, but you'll get a digital download with it. You'll get a sticker and you get a key ring, which you know what ain't too bad. You know, if you go back to I'm going to say 2007 when vinyl was 5.99, 6 quid, give and take a few pence. With inflation, we're now in 2025. It's not gone up that much.
No. I just think that the piracy things ruined it for a lot of artists. And I know they did moan about it for ages, but that does suck a bit, doesn't it? I mean, it's your living, it's your thing. You're entertaining people, you're making a living. I know some of them make huge money out of it, but it's what they chose to do. And if you're good at something, why not make money out of it? I mean, it's nothing compared to like footballers and things like that.
But this is why I won't release nothing. You know, I'll put the money in. You know, I'll pay like, I don't know, 150 quid to go in the studio. But you know, I'm damn scared to put anything out on vinyl, because as soon as you do it, someone records it, puts it on YouTube, someone MP3s down it, you ain't taking no money, mate.
No.
And this is where you need pre-orders, and you know the tune's got to be real decent before you even go pre-order and go, this is up for sale and blah blah blah. That's why, you know what? Out to Christopher Howell, man, Nightfall's Crew, because that guy, mate, he knows what he's doing. That guy's a businessman.
Night Force was,
mate. If you see what he's doing, he's pressing records, he's getting pre-orders in. You know, I've seen box sets for the Messiah at 150 quid, but they have got like remixes upon remixes and stuff. But
yeah.
if you don't get them, pre-sales, mate, of money in, you ain't getting nothing, mate. Because you got, you know, I've pressed vinyl and stuff. You know, I've sold it myself, distributed myself. You know, pressed it up again. It all costs money, and you know what? If you don't do it yourself, you're gonna get ripped off.
Yeah.
And I know that all too well, mate. Trust me, in a major way. It's a dangerous game out there, mate.
I've got something from the 90s.
Oh, look, he's on there. Look, researching it. Go on.
No, I have. I've got something from the 90s that I want to share with you.
What is it? One of your wallets that are afraid where all the money's falling out the bottom?
No.
Oh, go away, mate.
It's that.
Take it off, Stu.
I know he never talks about it. Look. Massive record from the 90s.
So take that off, mate.
All courtesy of him. I want to play it, but it won't play.
No, take that off the screen. It's had a few hits on it, though, isn't it?
Right, it's had loads. I tell everyone it's still played. And this is what he never talks about this. Mad Sample, Suzanne Vega. I think that was actually from the 90s as well. So, if you don't know, get to know. This was courtesy of this man right here. So he never takes any credit for it. So I thought I'd just let you know. Some treat. Go and check it out on YouTube. It's still a cracker of a tune. Anyone who plays a garage set will usually play that.
Anyways, let's move on quickly.
It's a tune. It's a tune, mate. It's a tune.
Anyway, I'm gonna say right. These guys, right, are probably my favourite band ever, and I've got literally every. I can't tell you because I've got a CD thing here. How they have got so many albums, like 26 studio albums, but these guys, they do it, mate. Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. 26 studio albums. How? That's like mind blowing.
So you know, if you haven't seen it on Disney, go and watch the Wu-Tang Sagas. These guys signed, I think, a 5-year, 10-year deal, and then they could do side projects and they wouldn't get penalized. Mate, they go and watch this 3 series, one of the best film documentaries I've ever seen. It is absolutely something else, mate.
Is that on your hoodie as well?
I've got so much, mate. They're one of my favorite, and you know what? They're really good lyricists. And I think it's either RZA or Jizza. That his uncle was Marvin Gaye.
Did your other hoodie come through today?
No.
It's on its way.
All right, cool, mate.
I've got the message. It's on its way. Be probably tomorrow.
For me, these guys, a collective of 9 guys from all the boroughs of America. One of the best lyricists: Method Man, ODB, RZA, Jizza, Capadonna. I think the other gigs. There's like 9 of them, mate. It's like what more can I say for lyricists? Ice-T. There's a lot of those things are so influential for me as a kid.
Yeah, we've all got our influences. That's what makes us, isn't it? And that's why we're all so different. And if we was all the same, music would be very boring.
Mate, I can't forget Ice Cube, man. One of the best lyricists out of NWA. You know, when he left, the whole crew went downhill.
Fairy tale
of New York, mate. The fairy tale of the Bronx from New York. Oh, we always say about this tune. Well, funny. Go and check
really
it out.
Funny.
And I'll tell you what, another one of the biggest disses in hip hop history. No Vaseline.
Storytellers, aren't they? That's what they are. They're storytellers. I mean, you've got the modern day people like Eminem that are out of this world lyricists, but they were old school and telling stories. It wasn't just rubbish they were blurting out, was it? It was stories.
And for me, when you get this by NWA, which is one of the fourth of gangster rap, and then your member leaves and then takes a diss record at you and finishes all your career, that's it, mate. Game over. Keep saying else. I've got to big up KRS-One as well, mate, because after hearing that first album, By All Means Necessary was saying else.
The hip hop definitely was influential in many things. It still is today.
De La Soul as well, mate. That 3 Feet High and Rising album was just, it was just such a breakthrough album. I've never heard anything like it in my life. I was just like, what the hell is this, mate? It's such a good album, mate. There's like so many tons of albums out there, whether it ain't hip hop, if it's something else. Odyssey. Odyssey was another good group, the soul group from the 70s. Yet again, produced by Nile Rodgers.
Yep.
There's so much, mate. Honestly, just this off the cuff chat as well.
So, just quickly skipping back to the 70s, who was doing it for you in the 70s? Who would you rate from the 70s?
I wouldn't have known the 70s because I was born in 73. But for me in the 70s, right, I would have said something like Odyssey were really good. Chic were something else as well. But there's
Chic. Nile Rodgers, obviously.
I had the fortune to see that guy live. I mean, look, there's so much of that new wave punk ska stuff. The specials were the specials for me was such a breakthrough thing when as a kid, I heard them. And they were so good. They put Madness on the map. They put the Selector on the map. They put this and that on the map. This whole two-tone thing. I think for that, I think the 70s, like the late 70s for me, because I wouldn't have remembered too much before that, was it's got to be the specials, mate.
Yeah. So ska, reggae, that sort of stuff, that was massive as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, because believe it or not, it was. Listen, God rest my old man. He was a mad. This guy was crazy. So he's the avid Queen listener, and he wouldn't listen to the crap that was in the charts. He'd have albums, A Day at the Races, Sheer Heart Attack. I'm not just rhyming these off. I ain't got it in front of me. But these are all the albums he used to play on a Sunday night on a record player with so-and-so. It was either that or reggae, because they used, when I used to live in Meadfield, they used to have these massive big reggae parties. I'm talking like Holston, Willesden, Neasden, Stonebridge, Wembley. You're talking like all these black guys used to come. Nothing ever got broken. No fights. No, nothing. If anything got broken, they'd pay. It was like, for me, I was only a young kid, and I don't really remember it. But for me, it was just.
Do you know
like,
one thing I can't believe we haven't mentioned? The 70s, a massive thing, obviously, around there was the thing of the mods and the rockers.
Yeah, mate. Like, mate, I think that was what I think. Yeah, I think that was like late 60s, going towards in the 70s, though.
Yeah, I just remember it from the 70s because my brother was all
I
the
think,
Vespers, and it was still a big part of. Because I remember my brothers when they were growing up, which they were born in like the early 60s, but by the time they were
yeah,
teenagers, would have been in the early 70s or mid 70s.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. So there was, I don't, do you know Tay?
Yeah.
So he used to live, I'd say, 15 doors down the road from me, right? They were both mods. Right? I remember coming out of my house when I was at my mum's house when I was about 6. I looked down the road. There must have been 100 scooters, mate, all outside the house. When they took off, there was loads, mate. I've never seen so many scooters in my life. Big up to Steve Mills, Nomad Crew. Them not are still rolling. I don't know about the in crowd if they're still going. I don't know,
I think
but
they
I
are, but
know.
very small now. Do you know what? I'm going to have a quick look because obviously massive film as well when I was younger, Quadrophenia.
Yeah, mate.
Do you remember when the bloke at the end goes off of Beachy Head, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the start of it, though.
I was at the start.
And the end.
I know, I can't.
1 second, got to pick up Paul McDowell, mate. Yeah, and listen, don't try and catch me out on a hop on Saturday, because guess what? I'm not on in the morning.
Oh, big shout
I'm
out!
not.
Big shout out to Mandy as well, and for the tip on the Mixcloud. There's been a couple we've had lately, but those was quite substantial. So thank you very much, Mandy, and see you Saturday in the chat.
We got a big up. No, she's in Rome, but big up everyone like Treebor Trey, out to Paul McDowell, out to Fozzie. There's so many old listeners that are coming back, which I really respect, because it's these guys that I do it. But I'm not on Saturday morning. But I tell you what I am doing. I'll be on at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
5 to 8.
Are you getting your haircut
Just
Saturday?
No, but I'm going to play all the breakbeat tunes that you know and that you've got, so you ain't got none to play later. No, I'm only joking.
You haven't got the ones I've got. Listen. Quickly, Quadrophenia. I didn't realise it. 1979. I didn't realise it was that late.
Yeah, same time as the Warriors, same time as Beat Street.
It was the main guy.
Phil Daniels.
Paul Daniels' brother.
Yeah, Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was that late. I thought it was much later than
right. So you had Phil Daniels, Phil Davis, Toya Wilcox, Trevor Lord. You had Mark Wingett from the Bill. There was so many. John Altman, Nick Cotton was in it.
Nick Cotton.
Daniel. Yeah, Daniel Peacock, that was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That was out of Mental Mickey, out of Only Fools and Horses. Mate, there were so many people that you wouldn't even know.
Big things. So,
yeah, mate.
Are you seriously? You're on at 5 Saturday, are you?
I am on at 5, mate.
So it's not the breakfast show this week; it's the late afternoon lunch show.
And there's going to be some anthems and tunage on that, mate.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
It won't. What I'm going to do is I'll cut out the breakfast show stuff, and it'll be more hip house, the rave stuff, and everything.
So what are you doing? 2 hours?
No, 3.
All right. Because I was going to say if you're doing 2, I'd go on an hour early, but that's even better.
That's it.
No.
Want to do that?
Oh, you go on it. You do 3, mate, and I'll come on straight after you.
All right, sweet as me. Right, guys. We're out of here, man.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry, it's a bit patchy this week, everyone, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Hopefully, you got some information out of that.
You got to big up Paul McDowell, mate, each and every time. Cheers, mate. I did message Fossey, but I don't think I could get through to him. I ain't got a message on my phone, so I put it on his wall. But yeah, listen, guys, there's a whole heap of shows in the middle of the week, towards the end of the week. I think we got what's his name? Starkey, 7 o'clock on Thursday. Chrissy Barrow, what's he on Friday, 10 o'clock?
Friday night, 10 o'clock.
And don't forget the Madman's on as well. It'd be rolling
Friday morning.
Yeah, watch this guy, man. He's when did you see this guy? Out to Beefy Curtains, mate.
Shouts to everyone who's taken part with us tonight, and all the silent listeners, everyone on Mixcloud. I lost the messages in the end, so out to Paul and everyone who's sending the messages in. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys, man. Like, as I say, we only do this for you, and like, we are going to give something back, because, as I say, I don't want to babble on, because we are going to go. Is me and Styler couldn't get on radio stations. It was very cutthroat, so we want to give back something to, if someone's looking to come on something, we want to give it back to them so they can sort of start their journey.
Everyone needs to start somewhere, and everyone deserves a chance to do something if they're passionate about it and want to do it. We're the go-to. Come see us. Yeah, right, Styler. I'll see you soon, brother. I'll see you. Take it. I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Keep it up front. See you, flat. Yeah. Laters.